What is going on, everybody? We got a working video going in the shop today. We're actually pulling our Whipple 2024 F-150 standard cab, short bed, four-wheel drive truck back in here. We're still waiting on the Whipple, but we're about to get the truck back in here. We got some stuff with we're gonna put the headers on it. We had a little debacle with that. I'll explain in a minute. I just want to take a minute to show you guys the scene out here. So we are eat up with Mustangs at the moment, and it's pretty rad walking out here first thing in the morning. You know these girls right here. You got Ruby chilling over here. You just walk out and it's just Mustangs as far as I can see. Peter's car over here just chilling. We got some things figured out on it. Figured out we got an adjustable brake booster rod, and I bet you it's out of adjustment. So yeah, Ruby up here just chilling. I just wanted to kind of show you, and oh yeah, that's my view out the shop window for the day. Okay, everybody, like I said, we got the Whipple F-150 build in the shop. The Whipple is not here, but we got the truck lowered. We're putting the long tubes on it. I had a little bit of a debacle with the headers. Let me walk back here and I'll show you what we're putting on it. I'll explain what kind of happened. So we've got a full kit from Stainless Works with the little baby converters. They're full length long tubes. So I had planned on doing this a few weeks ago. This is now the first of the year. I had planned on doing this like before Christmas. Pulled the truck in, was unboxing everything, and they sent two left side headers. So that's not gonna work out too well, but I'm gonna get into removing all of this factory stuff, get after it, pulling all the Y pipe off, both manifolds. I'm not sure how extensive filming I will get. I'll try to get a lot. But yeah, I'm just trying to work through this. We're working on parts, delivery holds. The Whipple is still about 3 or 4 more weeks out. This is the 1st of January, so I really am not expecting to see it till actually probably middle of February. But I'm gonna put you guys on a time lapse, get to pulling all this old stuff off. It's not easy, but it's just taking a bunch of stuff loose. It's not really too crazy. I'll try to show you anything I get that's kind of technical or whatever. I'll try to pause, but there's probably gonna be a lot of time lapse in this portion. Okay, so you've seen me get all this off. Got the driver's side, passenger side manifold off. It's held on with like studs and nuts, so I've got all the nuts off, and I'm pretty sure I have to double check the instructions. Anyone, the Coyote stuff I've done before, they want you to remove all the factory studs that are in the, I'll show you guys in just a second, all the factory studs that hold it on there, because it comes with its own bolts. Because obviously with headers and stuff, things are gonna be tight, tube snaking around. But first things first, before we get started, the daily muscle milk. You know the deal. Muscle milk, still waiting on you. Where are you at? Hit me up. So as you guys can see, that's what I'm talking about. See all the studs still sticking out of the block? I'm pretty sure none of those will clear, so we are going to get all those removed, get our new header hung up in here, and hopefully this side goes smoothly and we'll get right onto the So here's our passenger side header. Now on both sides, the bottom is slotted, which actually makes things very easier. So what I'll do, let me grab a flashlight for you guys. So just start your gasket, kind of hard to see. Let me get up in there so I can see. Start the gasket, that's really crappy. Anyways, yeah, there you go. Start the 2 bolts up there, that holds the gasket. It'll hold your gasket in place for you. And I'm sorry, I'm not doing a very good job of filming this at all. I can get you a better freaking angle up in here. Can you see that? Yeah, there we go. There we go. Now you see. So I got 2 bolts started in the head. The gasket's just hanging there, so I'm gonna just kind of slip the header up in there and onto those bolts, and then we can go around starting all the other bolts and finger tight. Now for some reason they do in the instructions recommend you they send this sealer with it. I don't like putting silicone on exhaust parts. I'm assuming maybe this is to go along with like turbo application stuff. We're going to build a lot of exhaust back pressure, but per the instructions, we're going to smear a little bit of the silicone on it, hope it seals up. Got the passenger side header installed, all bolted up, starter back in, motor mount tight, AC compressor bolted back up. We're completely done. O2 sensor in place. We are done with the passenger side, and looks nice, fits nice. I had to do a little finagling, but actually fits really well. Looks like it's close up here. I might have to put a little ding in a tube, but otherwise we're moving right along. Okay, now we're finally done with this thing. I'm gonna crank it. Hear what this thing sounds like. Ultimate Coyote cold start. OMG is loud. Okay, so after some time, I finally got my customer's 2024 F-150 that we've been working on. We got it lowered, it's got long tubes, it's got exhaust on it. The main thing we've been waiting on, this thing's been on back order. He's had this ordered since last year, since the end of last year. I actually think I lowered this truck and did the headers either in December or maybe the 1st of January. Anyways, I'm not sure whether it's been a couple months. It's going down now. Whipple 3.0 big dog kit, 2024 standard cab, 4-wheel drive Coyote truck. Come on now. Like, I've been drooling all over the internet about these Whipple trucks forever. Now I finally get to get my hands on one. I did several Whipple and Roush blowers when I was at the Ford dealer on new cars, new Mustangs. I'm recalling, I don't think I've ever done an F-150. The install is pretty straightforward. If you've done a Mustang before, it's pretty simple. It gets a little, bolting the supercharger on the engine, no big deal. Pull the intake off, pull this lid off, bolt the blower down, no big deal. But you're just getting started. There's a heat exchanger that goes behind here. There's a lot of little things that go that make this job kind of tedious, and it's been a couple of years since I've done one. The problem that I ran into with these before is the way the wiring and the hoses routed just was how can I say without offending, not up to my standards. So I always take a little time. I wound up unlooming the wires how they send them, relooming them. When I was at Ford, since they were brand new cars, I always, like any wires that go back to the PCM, I always just unloomed the main harness, and I would add the Whipple wires, which I'm not sure how much extra is. I know there was always a couple. I would lumen the factory harness, so you would never know that it didn't come from Ford that way, and I'm sure I'll wind up doing this one. But like I said, it's been a couple years. They may have revised some things. Maybe their harnesses are a little nicer now. It was just always a little pet peeve thing for me because these things are not cheap, and I never liked the way the harnesses and the hoses just laid. I didn't think there was a whole lot of thought ever put into any of that from the aftermarket, so that's what takes a little longer for me. And this is a brand new truck, really nice parts. Full disclosure, I do charge premium labor to do this kind of stuff. So in turn, I try to give a premium result. Wow, what kind of logic is that? Most people have lost that logic nowadays, especially in my world, but yeah, so when I do have the stuff like this, because let's get real. Like this is bolt-on kit, bolt-on stuff, bolt-on, but this stuff's time consuming. You can't just go be like, okay, normal labor rate, whatever. Like I said, I charge a little bit of a premium for this kind of stuff, but I give a premium result. It's not just gonna be slapped on there, butt connectors, whatever, not my jam. Just like the suspension and the headers. So let's get into this. The first thing I'm gonna do is get this intake off. I'll get the intake off, get this off, maybe pop the grill out, and then I'll resort to the instructions, because I do have to kind of follow along on these, because if you don't, like I could probably unbox all of this and know where everything goes, but some things have to be done before others, and if you don't kind of follow it somewhat step by step, you're gonna wind up mad, taking the blower back off because some little thing has to go in there like a water neck or whatnot. So I'm gonna start by, actually I'll probably start by unboxing a couple of these little small things so I see exactly my parts inventory layout, and then I'm gonna pop the intake off, get that off, get the grill out. That way we're sort of, disassembly is done. I don't think we ever have to move, I don't think we've got to do any mods to the timing cover or anything like that. On some of the early ones, you had to do a little bit of clearancing for an idler pulley. But yeah, I'm just talking in space now. Let me unbox a couple things and we'll get right back with some live action. I'll pop the intake off, and so you can kind of know. Like if you guys aren't familiar with these style superchargers, the Whipple, Roush's, VMS, they're all about the same. Basically, this whole deal replaces your intake manifold, and then you have a supercharger. In retrospect, it is pretty, I don't even know the word to describe it. You can definitely do this kit in a day. I may not finish it today because they're getting a little bit of a late start. We got some other things going on, but this can be done in a day. So just think about it. You can pull your bone stock truck in here, bolt this supercharger on, even if you bought the small kit, in one day and leave with roughly mid 5s to 600 horsepower. This is a bigger kit. I think we're gonna be, remember we talked, I have to pull out the details of the kit in a minute, the breakdown. I think this truck's gonna be closer to the 700 or so range, and I cannot wait. I can't wait to get Maddie to ride it, because she's rode in a lot of my stuff and she thinks it's super fast because it's the fastest thing she's been in. This thing will knock your socks off. Yeah, real fast. So I woke up this morning, I had a missed call from him last night. He dropped the truck off last night. We got home on the track late, I fell asleep, and I had a picture of this sitting in the driveway, and I'm like, dude, what happened? I knew he had said that he bought a new grill, but I was like, okay, well maybe that's what he's showing me. He broke the grill, so I bought a new one. No, he hit a deer on the way to the house last night. Hair still in the grill, all that stuff. So yeah, sorry for Bambi's loss, but he's real mad about his truck. So yeah, I thought that was a bad deal. I felt real bad for him. So I got the intake loose, got the cooling system draining. We're pulling the intake manifold off now. On these Coyote trucks and cars, intake off is very straightforward. The only thing that sucks is all those wire retainers in the back, because they are literally in the back side of the intake. So here's our factory manifold. This comes off, chunk this out of the way. Okay, so supercharger's off now. I mean, intake is off, not supercharger. Intake is off. I'm going to now resort to the instructions, because I think there's a couple of things like these water outlets that need to be changed before we can bolt the supercharger on. But as far as that goes, it's that simple, guys. Pull the intake, we'll pull the lid off the supercharger, then it goes in place. That's the easy part. All the other little finicky things are what's tough. So I'm gonna pop the instructions out, brief myself with the first couple pages, and try not to get ahead of myself. All right, so we're moving right along with our install. They give you a set of spark plugs to gap all the spark plugs. That's all in there. This front idler bracket is on. You have to change the thermostat neck. Just a couple of heater hose deal, just finicky, stupid stuff. But here, we're moving on to these supplied fuel rails. You have to swap the injectors and the fuel rail pressure sensor over to said rails. So we are not upgrading injectors, I don't think, because I did not see any. I'm thinking since this is a 2024, the computer is locked, so you can't do any actual live tuning on it. So I think it limits you to fuel system upgrades or whatnot, or maybe this is just the basic fuel system kit. This truck is if you guys aren't familiar with these, I think this is Gen 3 Coyote. They're dual fuel. So this is the low pressure injectors, and it has a whole nother set of high pressure injectors. And the good thing about that is in a factory stock tuning abilities, you have plenty of fuel. So I'm not sure what they're doing. It does have a little program. I set that in the truck, but I'm not sure exactly what they're doing with a locked computer, faking something out to give it more fuel. That is a good thing about these trucks is you've got fuel system on tap to support a ton of power. So I'm going to get into putting all these injectors and all the sensors and everything in these rails, and then you install this on the blower, and we're almost to our steps of actually, we're only a few pages away, it looks like. I see pictures of a supercharger. So yeah, we're gonna actually be we're a couple pages away from actually bolting the supercharger on now. Like I said before, I've done several of these, but I still follow the instructions, not step by step by step, but at least next page, give it an overview. Okay, what am I doing here? Because you will quickly get ahead of yourself and wind up taking stuff back off that you spent hours bolting on. So yeah, I just kind of thumb through. Pro tip for everybody out there doing it. I'm sure there's shops that do them all day, every day. They blast through them. But if you're doing this at home, doing it yourself, trust me, do yourself a favor. Before you even get any parts out of the box, the night before you're gonna do this, take the instruction sheet inside on the couch, do yourself a favor, familiarize yourself with it so you can, okay, so now I know when I get here, I got this stuff or whatnot. So you gotta just kind of, I have to do the same thing. Thumb through it, familiarize myself with what's going on. So I'm gonna get to swapping these injectors in, then we can actually start putting parts on the supercharger, get it ready to go on the truck. So recap on the injectors and fuel rail deal. So I was going over, and the first step says transfer your factory injectors. So I did all of that, and there's we are. Well, then I flip the next page, and then it tells you here all about swapping your injectors over, take them out of the old rail, blah, blah, blah. Well, in the next page, and then the next step tells you, oh yeah, by the way, after you did all that, if you got these two kits, you use supplied injectors. So yeah, some of the steps in here are kind of irritating. They've always been that way. So it comes with upgraded injectors, taking all these stock ones back out that I just put in, put our upgraded ones in there, and move along. I just thought I would share that with you guys. So seriously, if you're doing these, read a couple pages ahead, because I'm not trying to blast anybody out, Whipple or anybody, but the instructions are always very vague. Not vague, but sometimes not exactly in order. And they jump, I'm sure there's reasons for why they do it, but like, I just spent like 30 minutes doing this bracketry and this cooling stuff, and then the next step is, oh yeah, now do the spark plugs. And I just, oh, now go over here and do this. It's not quite, there's not much flow to it. And I guess if you did one, like I said, if you did them all the time, you would figure out your own routines. Like if I did one of these a week, after about 2 or 3 of them, I would not even get the instructions out of the box, because I'd be like, oh yeah, now I'll do this next, do that next, do this next. Anyway, anyways, I just thought I'd share that with you. I went through all the trouble of swapping all the stock injectors over, and then turn the next page and say, oh yeah, by the way, you need to use these. Now I've got the fuel rails, injectors, harnesses all in the supercharger. I'm putting the seals on the top now. It takes this like little piece of tube seal in here that it seals off the intercooler from the non-intercooled air. Putting this large perimeter O-ring, this one big super thin O-ring. You need to put some, it says apply generous amounts of grease to it so it slides into place. It's just literally a big O-ring. It presses all in this perimeter right here. I assumed it would be kind of preformed to the blower, but it's just a big old generic O-ring. Yeah, and I found another discrepancy just flipping through already. I hate to keep saying things about the instructions, but there's one thing I don't really like is it tells you to install the supercharger housing to the engine. Okay, so then it tells you to torque it down. Then you go to the next page, and then it tells you put the crossover on the back of the supercharger. I just feel like that would be something nice to know before, because look here in the next picture, that's the supercharger installed, and there's no room to get back there. So I found a lot of things like that. Sorry, I'm just ranting on, just personal stuff. I'm just used to OEM style instructions where it's like it tells you, oh yeah, don't do this yet because then you're going to need to do this later. This does not tell you that. So like I said, before you go to just the next page, read a couple pages forward and you're probably going to find a step that's like, oh yeah, I better do this now or I'm going to be super mad later. Yeah, this O-ring just goes right in here, follow it around. Definitely apply a little bit of grease, makes it go in there easier. Yeah, it's not that big of a deal, but yeah, just a couple of things. Like I said, if you guys are doing this at home in the driveway, make sure you read a couple of steps forward, and it helps to kind of be familiar, obviously, with the platform. Obviously, doing this at the Ford dealer every day, forever, not superchargers, but working on these trucks, I'm very familiar with the Coyote platform and the truck itself. I worked on Coyote's stuff all day, every day at the Ford place. They stayed tore up. So that being said, I kind of know just by looking at stuff and flipping through, like I'm familiar, like, oh yeah, well, we better not do this now. Where do you want to put this? And so, like I said, if you're familiar with the platform, you'll kind of see some things and be like, oh yeah, I better ease up before I get into this. But yeah, we're just putting these O-rings on. I believe that one of the next steps is going to be, maybe there's a little jumper harness we got to do, but finally bolting this thing on here. Man, these things are, I forgot how heavy they are. Maybe this one being the 3.0 is even bigger because this is a big blower. I think it's got some weight. Okay, so me and Maddie actually just wrestled this thing over in there. Like, pro tip, if you're by yourself, I don't know. It's, the thing's got some weight to it, and it's just really awkward. Me and Maddie had to both kind of lay up here on each side and feed it down in there. We should have filmed it. Should have done a lot of things, but supercharger is in. Couple of connections to be made. You have to factory fuel injectors. This is a MAP sensor extension harness. I just need to make sure nothing got pinched, but we're in here all the way down. Gaskets are in place, ready to secure it, and then see what all else we have to do. There's still a good bit of work to do once the supercharger's bolted in place, but it's going to feel good to have it in place, ready to rip, and then we'll revisit our instructions and see what is next. There's still a lot of things that have to go on in the front, like the heat exchanger, all that stuff. But supercharger's on. I'm gonna get some bolts started, make sure our fuel hose in the back is routed correctly, make all our connections, bolt the lid on. Once we get the lid bolted on, the throttle body on, it's gonna start looking like something's gonna start looking like a hot rod then. And so let me get all these bolts in here and torque down. They give you torque specs for everything. They're actually really good about that. They give you hardware, torque specs for everything you need to know. So electrical connections, put all the bolts in, get it torqued. Then we can set the lid on, get the throttle body on, the rest of the belt accessory routing. I think that's what I'd like to get done today. It's kind of getting a little bit later in the day. I got a late start. And it's Monday. Try not to go hard on a Monday sometimes. So trying to make this one enjoyable because I love doing this kind of stuff, taking my time, making sure stuff looks good. Like I said before, like the wiring stuff, making it look neat, whatnot. So we're going to try to get all this bolted down, maybe get the belt on, and then if I only get that far today, then I can get up in the morning, attack all this stuff, because there's a water pump that goes in here, all that kinds of stuff, a water pump to circulate water through the blower, through the brick in the intercooler. So yeah, let me keep working on that, get the bolts started in here, make sure I don't have any wires pinched in the back, and we'll get back to you in a second with some live action, bolting some stuff together. But you can see, this is the bracket. The pulley's gonna bolt on here. There's an idler that goes here. I assume it, with this notch, it's got some kind of adjustability. That's already on. There's a bolt that goes through there. Yeah, all of our little fittings for all that stuff, the fuel rail fittings are all there. We're clicking right along. I'm sure I've missed a couple things, showing you live action, step by step, every bolt. I'm not going to sit here and put every single bolt in and show you this bolt goes here and there. You'll be watching me for the 8-hour duration. Okay, so got the manifold in place. They tell you to torque this in 2 sequences, 88 and then 106. So we're going to start. My torque wrench is about wearing the numbers off of it. I can barely see it. Okay. The inside bolts torqued. All these inside bolts also get a little small O-ring on them to seal, boost, and vacuum. Getting these torqued with the torque wrench in the front is going to be interesting, because back when you got to use a swivel one, and those back two bolts are a nightmare. Got the supercharger bolted down. I'm getting ready to put the lid on. Supercharger is bolted up, torqued down. Man, those back bolts are a pain. Honestly, I'm a big cab pulling guy, and the next one of these I do, I'll pop the cab off. I honestly think you can do it. It's not at all necessary, but like I've said in my other videos, engine swap stuff, it's easier for me. This kills me laying over this thing like this. My back's gonna pay for it in the morning. To where if the cab was up, it would almost be like having the engine sitting here on an engine stand. We can just walk up to it, put the blower on, make all the connections, make everything look nice, neat, and everything. Yeah, so food for thought. Next one I do, cab in the air like I normally do on a Ford. If I'm doing anything halfway involved, I snatch the cab off. In the future, that's my advice to you guys at home. If you've got the accessibility, obviously if you're doing it in the driveway, this is 100% a job that can be done in the driveway. Is it gonna suck? Yep. Are you gonna cuss a lot? Yep. You gonna throw a lot of tools? Yep. You gonna lose some tools? Yep. You're gonna forget a bunch of crap? Yep. Yep. Gonna be, but I think right now I'm ready to just set this lid. Whoo, that feels good. Get the supercharger lid on there. The top, it's very finicky. I'm gonna have to probably pop this thing up and have a look under, make sure. Yeah, it all looks good. Whoo, okay, lid is on. I'm kind of thumbing through. It's getting a little bit late. About time to stop for the day, get my fitness on, get a little run or something, and just call it for the day. I'm gonna poke through just to see where I'm at. Look, like I said, several times already. When you get to a point where you think you're at, before you finish that step, go forward a couple pages. And I found a couple things. I was talking about that fuel rail crossover. It might be easier to leave it off and do it in the back and get those bolts, but yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I'm just gonna skip forward a couple because I'm thinking I'm gonna just set that lid in place for right now. And that's probably as far as we're gonna get tonight. All right, so next morning, we're back on the Whipple truck. I stopped off yesterday. Once I got the blower and everything bolted down, I kind of started the day late, so I didn't get as much done as I normally would. I usually can turn these things around in a solid day, but it does take a little bit of time. They're finicky, and I wasn't in a huge rush, not trying to blow through it. I don't try to crank these kind of jobs out. I'd like to take my time, make it look really nice like I do most of my stuff. So yeah, we're back on this in the morning, this morning. I mean, this knocked out, but first I got another customer that has reached out. He has what I believe is an ASC McLaren car, early mid 80s. I don't remember what year it is. I think it's like 85 or 6. It's got a tri-bar steering wheel, so I'm assuming it's an 85 or a 6. And he wants steering wheel change. He's had him some kind of nice steering wheel, nice tri-bar redone or something like that, and he wants the steering wheel swapped out. So he's gonna come by here. We'll swap the steering wheel, and I'll show you guys a little bit of that action. And yeah, and then we'll get back on our Whipple truck and finish this build so we can go do some cruising in this unit later. This thing should be pretty spicy. I've been seeing them all over the internet. I've been wanting to play with one myself. All these Whipple trucks, everybody doing the Whipple Coyote F-150 deal. So I'm excited. All right, people, I told you we had a little bit of a special treat today. Check this car out. Beautiful ASC McLaren Capri 86 car. This thing is really a quite a specimen of a car. I love these gold SVE wheels on it. This thing, check the taillights out. With the covers, just a super sick look of the rear of this car. He has this in the back. They call this, he's explaining a lot of this to me, they call these Euro coupes. I just asked him why McLaren called them coupes. Dunno. This is not a coupe, but they call this a Euro coupe. Check the inside of this thing out. It is pretty insane. Look at this. Check this side bolster out. Like, what? Oh my Lord. This car is beautiful. So we're gonna be swapping the steering wheel. Yep, it says ASC McLaren in the steering wheel. It's got some wear on it. It's not in bad shape. not in terrible shape, but it's looking pretty bad. We have this. He had someone leather wrap it. It is super nice. And from what he has told me, that these are SVO factory steering wheels, which the core's a little thicker. It's just a little nicer wheel than your standard tri-bar, which I didn't know that they were that much different. You guys know me and my tape players. Check that out. 140 mile an hour speedo. This thing is just really impressive, to say the least. Love the gray interior. So let's get in to see what it takes to swap this steering wheel. Okay, so most of these tri-bar wheels have, well, let's see on this one, screw hole there, screw hole there to hold the centerpiece in. And I was just looking, and this one is blank on the back side, and you just give it just a little tug, and this piece comes right out. Undo your connector for the horn, and as you can see, this has the provisions to take a screw, but has never, ever had a screw in it. And actually, the owner of the car was kind of pleasantly shocked as well that this, you see, it has a blank, but even if it was drilled on the back side, this is too big. The screw head would just go right through there. Anyways, pretty interesting. We're going to bust this center nut off, get a puller, pop the steering wheel off. Super straightforward. It's nothing crazy. All right, let's see if we can just bust this center nut loose. No problem. So if you can see, this is basically why I missed the hole there. This is basically all you need to pull any generic steering wheel. This is actually a harmonic balancer puller, just a generic puller kit. It's nothing crazy. Just put the couple bolts in there. You have two provisions. And most all of your factory steering wheels are going to have a couple of provisions for that. Put them in there. Sometimes you can loosen the nut and just kind of manhandle them, wiggle them off, but this is a super nice car. I'm not about to jerk his column around and stuff like that. So pulled it out a little bit, it popped right off. There's our old one. And now, with any luck, our new one will go right back in place. All right, so here's our new nice, pretty leather wrapped wheel. Pretty straightforward, just goes straight on the back. That's the two little contactors that slide on this back piece while you're turning the wheel. So put your wheel back up there like you had it. It just literally goes straight on like it was. The little spring keeps tension on it from behind there.
That's not me.
All right, we're there. Yeah, this steering wheel is really super minty. It is great. He had it recovered at a place in Dallas that does a lot of this type stuff. Yeah, it's really, really nice. So now only thing left, put the center section / horn button in. So rad that it's got ASC McLaren on it. And we're done here. Literally just hook the horn up, and couldn't be easier. And just like that, we've got a nice minty fresh steering wheel on it. The center section doesn't exactly match, but it is extremely nice. A lot better than the worn out one he had. Presents really well, really finishes off this immaculate interior very nicely. I truly appreciate the opportunity to work on this car, and I believe I've met a great friend out of it also. This thing is really cool. It really reminds me of Myrtle, my 85 GT, but this thing is leveled up nice. Hope you guys enjoyed the little bit of a tutorial on this car. Look at this, the dash. I'm in awe at all of this stuff, guys. It's a really cool car, really a treat to work on this.
Hey y'all, as I am editing this video, I am going through some clips, and a lot of them, probably about 8 to 10 of them, have zero sound. Despite him having his mic on, I can literally see it in the clip. I'm not sure what happened. I was not there filming them that day, so who knows what happened. I'm so sorry. You guys are gonna miss some footage, but I'll show you what I can salvage, and yeah, sorry about that.
Okay, we are down to the last few pieces of this whole install, and I'm excited. I am very excited. It was, it's not too bad to do, honestly. It's really not that hard. It's just a lot of tedious work, and if you don't do them all the time, it's time consuming, no doubt about it. It is definitely time consuming. It takes a good bit of it takes a minute or two to do. Which one of these goes on here? Very large hose clamps. Oh yeah, I gotta put we still gotta hook up the intercooler pump. I forgot about that actually. Dang it. We on the homeward bound stretch. Just a matter of a few parts and pieces left to go on this rig. This might be tough to get on there, I'm thinking. Yeah, this is gonna be tough. What the heck? Let's see if we can wrestle all this in here. Does that go on top or the bottom? How they want that? Probably on the bottom. Yeah, underneath. Looks a little more better that way. Good night. Son of a biscuit. Very tight fit. Dang it, come on now. This is tough. This is annoying. Not gonna lie. Very, very annoying. Come on now. Hardest part of the whole job right here, boys. Getting the dang silicone coupler on. Good Lord. Oh boy. Why are you being like this? Let's try that little thin layer of grease. Dude, what the crap, man? Oh, boy. Simple task here, fellas. And it is whipping me. Come on, man. Just go in there. That's where you gotta go. I mean, you gots to. That's what you're made to do. Okay, that part is barely in there. Good Lord. Now we gotta wrestle that piece over. I'm thinking it might be easier to take the dang airbox back loose. Oh, dude. I'm gonna take this hose out of my way. Take this out of my way before I end up breaking the nipple off of the end here. Yes, and it came off the other side. That's exactly what I wanted it to do. Not really. There's that side again. This stuff just does not fit good at all. And I'm here to tell you, it does not. Okay, I had to pause. I had to move a couple of push pins back there in the corner, move some wires. The directions are for a little bit older of a truck. So now we're on to our intercooler pump wiring. They give you some pretty specific instructions on it. Doesn't look too terribly bad, but it don't look too terribly fun either. So looks like this attaches to the battery box, and then obviously that goes to the pump. So let's get all this routed and we'll go from there. Okay, I got the intercooler pump all wired up, everything mounted nice and neatly over there. Filling it with water. It is now burping itself now. Both cooling systems are full. We are completely together. I am in here now. About to start loading up this tune file. So, okay, well, it's not really picking up the screen too good, but we are, there we go, programming. I had to email the tune file, the factory file, to Whipple with an SD card, and then they send you a file right back. But yeah, we are about to fire this thing. So yeah, I got done last night, sent the tune file off. We were all finished up. Everything is buttoned up, except for we got to do the little stickers on the gas door and the oil cap. Other than that, we're ready to go. I think I have to change the oil to 550 There's a 550 sticker that goes on the cap, so I think we're gonna have to do an oil change. And then we're ready to see what this unit will do. First fire up, let's see if this thing runs and see if we got any issues. Calibration is loaded. Let's hit the key, brother. Oh, that's better. Good old Coyote cold start for you. Okay, it runs. I'm not sure if I'm in the shot or not. I'm pretty bad about that. It runs. I'm waiting on the grill and the headlight that got damaged by the deer. The grill shutters are all broken. I'm waiting on that from the Ford dealer first thing this morning. And bro, we're ready to go for a test drive. Make sure these cooling systems are both burped good now that it's running. And yeah, I am pumped. This thing is so loud. It is so loud. I'm ready to give it a full throttle blip so we can hear that blower scream one time. Overall, super easy, straightforward install. I fumbled through the instructions at first a little bit. Like I said before, if you do yourself a favor, read a couple pages ahead. Some stuff makes sense as you're doing it. I even said a couple times, I'm like, bro, some of the stuff's out of order, but as you're doing, as you go further, bro, they got it together. They done them. The kits are good. The instructions are fine. Like I said, it was my own fault not going fully reading through each step and moving forward. If you read the instructions step by step, like I said, go a couple pages ahead of what you're doing just to brief yourself so you know what's coming up, and you'll have a super easy understanding of what is going on, how it all works, and it honestly could not be easier. There's not much modifications you could do easier than this to get this kind of insane horsepower. It's pretty impressive. It's all bolt on, and if we wanted to, we could turn around tomorrow and put it all right back to stock. Nothing is permanently modified. It's a pretty hot setup, if you want my honest opinion. This is super sick, really impressive, well-made stuff, quality deal. All right, I got it in 4 high. We're gonna do what everybody does on these things, a little 4 high launch action.
That was crazy.
Okay, y'all just saw a couple of street pulls in Mexico, and oh my Lord. This thing, look, I have chills still. Like, I literally had chills. This thing it's almost too much. Like, in the wrong hands, this is a insanely fast vehicle. I have some fast junk, but this is next level, guys. Whipple for the win. Overall install, like I said, some of it's kind of finicky, but for the most part, it's really easy. And when you're done, if you take your time and do it right, loom all your wiring good, orientate all your hose clamps and stuff, it will end up looking literally like factory. It looks like Ford put it on there. Try to make it super clean, and it goes together nicely. I can't stress enough, flip through the instructions. Go a couple pages ahead when you're like, okay, I'm doing this step. Go a few more pages, but okay, this is next, and this, oh, that's why they want you to do this. So, because instructions overall are actually really good. They're really thorough. It's a super, super sweet kit. I've done the Roush kits. I've done the Ford Performance kits. By far, in my opinion, Whipple is the nicest fitment looking. It looks factory. It looks amazing. All the hardware is very factory-ish. Shout out to Whipple. Very quality product, and the power and the result is undeniable. Y'all been seeing them on YouTube forever now. You know the deal. And now, experiencing it firsthand, it's a bad unit. So overall, I know it took a couple months. We were waiting on the blower. Truck lowered the truck, put the headers on. He drove it for a while. We finally got the blower, and he's got a complete package now. Illuminated grill emblem. That's kind of a cool touch. Now, when he first did it, I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. But now it's on there. Pretty rad. It's pretty cool. Nice and subtle. Good little touch. I'm going to wipe the front end down for him, and this thing's ready for delivery. Once again, another quality job out the door. So, thanks for sticking around. Don't forget, Oxido. Guys, check them out. What are you waiting on? Get you some rad bulbs. Get you some cool stuff. The merch. Come on, man. Everybody needs a good t-shirt. Even if you just need a shop rag to clean up the freaking floor, go hit us up. Check us out. Get some sick shirts, get some stickers, get some whatever you want. We got all kinds of crap on there. Anyways, thanks for sticking around. Like, subscribe, keep the killer comments coming. Stick around for the next one.